All right. Hello and welcome to our January Inspire Velocity support session. We're glad you're with us today. Love for you to take a moment and put your name, position, where you work, any kind of specific questions you have in the chat. We're just going to give it a few more minutes to see if anyone else jumps on the meeting, but we're glad to have you today. If you run into trouble with your chat not working, you can use the Q&A. It's on the top toolbar near the people, in between chat and people. We do have that enabled, so you can use that if your meeting chat is not working. And hopefully you'll all be able to drop that in. Looks like we had one more person drop in our meeting. Hello,
Hello.
how are you today?
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome. I'm driving to get something to eat and go back home. So
Okay.
I'm listening.
Sounds good. And then we want you to feel like you can just drop in a question at any time. So we do have the mics open. This is just a kind of an informal session where we answer your questions and offer you any support we can on our GaDOE Inspire platform and using velocity activities.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Bye bye.
And I see that you're here for using velocity, so. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just do our introductory slides. And I do see Michelle is typing away. All right. Hello. We are the newly branded digital learning team here at Georgia Department of Education. Um, I am a program specialist. I worked primarily in secondary and high school. And Olu's on the call with us today.
Hello, hello. Also a program specialist coming from the world of elementary and even early elementary ed, pre-K, those babies. Happy to be here.
And Megan Welch is our program manager. She's going to be dropping in with us in a little while. She just didn't get to start the meeting off with us. And this slide just kind of highlights some of the things that we do at GaDOE, from working with our Classroom Conversations podcast to creating digital resources and helping to curate those for the Georgia Classroom, which is a collaboration with GPB and GaDOE. We do digital tool time and multimedia support for all content areas. So we're glad you're here with us today. And then I'm going to throw this over to our other special guest.
Hi, I'm Angela Ingram. I'm the Knowledge and Interoperability Manager. It's a big, long title for I Make Things Work Together. I'm the product manager for Inspire and Suitcase and Velocity. So if you like it, let me know. If you have suggestions to make it better, let me know. And if you hate something, let me know. That way I can make it better for you and help to build it so that it works better for you and your students.
So so we had a few questions that people put into their registration form, and so we got some things prepared. We are recording, and in case they actually check the recording later, if they didn't make it to the meeting, we're going to go ahead and honor those questions, and maybe you have one. You never know. All right.
All righty. And Michelle, is this you? Oh, no. This is not this is not the one. This is not the one. Sorry. So I know we are all excited about the rollout of implementing English language art standards. Now, we are not able to like speak to the new standards or even the implementation of it. However, there are tons and tons of resources within the resource repository. So I don't have the little laser thing, but Dana, could you like hover or circle the little Tinker Toy icon? And you'll see this when we kind of
Oh,
do jump into Inspire, but the tab has that share Tinker Toy icon, and that is where you can just find a ton of resources that are not within the instructional like content course content collection. And so I just pulled out a couple. So they've got how you know how it's broken up into like big idea, foundations, text, all of those new kind of categories. There are, like I said, tons of documents to support you as you get ready for that. So the Squircle is kind of like that maroonish red-ish color. And you'll find it in the repository under teaching and learning, which I will point out again. But yeah, there are tons of resources in there. So I don't know if someone mentioned our velocity support session or if maybe ELA is having a support session, but this isn't that one where we're able to discuss questions about the standards. So hopefully that's helpful.
and then another one we had, and I do think that one
Yes,
is Michelle's
this
question.
is why I said, is this you, Michelle? So can I get a thumbs up if that's you? Just so I can talk to you directly. Anyway, there are so many ways that you can use in velocity in the classroom. So I just took a couple of screenshots of some elementary velocity activities. I know it's hard to see, and you can kind of go in there and like play around and dig within velocity, but these are flashcards from social studies. There is a drag and drop as part of a science velocity activity. It's fourth grade. On the side, there's another science activity where you're being asked to kind of carry out an experiment or investigation, and then you can type within Inspire. So it can be as quick as like an exit ticket. It can be as in depth as like watch a video, respond, read a passage. So there's so many applications. I think
Sorry.
Angela was kind of speaking to the fact that you can, embed video, embed articles, images. If you're on the math side of things, there are lots of kind of like equations that you can put in there. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's infinite, but there's lots of ways you can use it. It's just a matter of how you want to use it. And what I did put on here, I'm sorry, I did want to speak to this, is that these activities are just a great way to provide students with interactive retrieval practice. And if you have done any kind of like reading about the science of learning, or if you've listened to Dr. Almaro talk about the science of learning, or you want to, and you're like, oh, isn't there going to be something about that? He speaks to retrieval practice just kind of being this way to recall information, right? Recall it and do it and make it stick and make it actually hold on to that information. Now, obviously, he says it way better than me, but these are kind of like engaging, interactive ways to get that practice.
And I just wanted to add, Velocity has a large amount of options for those that are just visual. Most of the activities have an area where you can place pictures. So you can do flashcards, freeform content, scaffolding, drag and drop allows both pictures and the answers in the drag and drop. Quiz questions, same, the question and the response, also accept images, except for the true and false. And then the formative assessment that also has a slew of question types that you can use images in the question style, the question, and then the answer set too. So we're also working on another type that mimics the new multi-statement drag and drop because it's got some additional features in it that hopefully will make it a little easier for younger learners. There's audio support. Of course, you can do the video, which Olu said. Students can listen to prompts, so you can speak and record in there as well. Students can record. I know that my niece, she knew how to record stuff on a cell phone when she was like 3. So I hope that a lot of students will probably know how to do that, and if that could work for them. There's additional feedback provided by VelocityBot that can be used as that spoken. And there's some interactive features with the drag and drop and the matching, the fill in the blank with the question, with the visual stuff I was mentioning, also within there. And I don't know how well this would work because I'm not a K2 person. I'm a middle school person. But we do have a pod mode, which is a collaboration tool. So, and I think of having peers work with students to kind of together those that can and can't. And I know that's one of those also too, where the cans get kind of tired of helping the can'ts. I know I had that in my classroom when I was in middle school. So I tried not to do that too often, but sometimes it's a good solution, just not always a solution. But that pod mode is something that can be used in class also. But as a teacher, you can lead it also. So you don't have to rely on other students. It's something you can use in there as a collaboration tool within there. So there are lots of different things in there, and just know we're working on more support for the younger that don't read, so that don't recognize letters.
That's some great answers there. Michelle, did you have other questions about velocity activities, or did that kind of get you started? We do have a lot of support documents that we can offer you if you need that as well too.
Thank you so much. That does get me started. We just haven't dug into velocity a lot. So I just wanted to see what you all had to share about it for K5.
I do have a kind of getting started with velocity, and I'll drop it in the chat. It's just a quick handout, so one pager, and you can share it with other teachers if you'd like. And that way it's
Well, and
something you can take with you. Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm happy to kind of like hop in a breakout room or drop another meeting link just so I can show you like where they are, and you can just actually like really look at one. Like I said, these screenshots might not mean a lot if you haven't really dug in, especially since like the one with the black background, that's what the student will see. The other screenshots are like what you as the educator would see. So again, if you want to, I'm happy to kind of pop over just to quickly show you what it looks
Okay,
like.
yes. Yes, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I was saying I
You
can
want
pop
me?
over. Can't I can just go
I'll
create
just
one
make,
row.
I can do it real
Oh,
quick.
okay.
That way we'll just do it from here. Okay. And then Michelle, I'll assign her to it. And then you'll be able to move over.
Cool.
Just takes a second. There we go. All right, Michelle, I am assigning you. There we go. All right.
Okay,
And
thank
Michelle's over there. Okay.
Okay, and then is it room 1?
Yeah. I just made one.
Okay, because it says close to me.
Oh. Oh, maybe I
It's
need to
hidden.
open it.
Oh.
I need to open it. There we go. Sorry. Now y'all are going. All right. And then this last one was someone had asked a question about Georgia milestones prep. And we don't necessarily have well, Angela, I don't know if you wanted to talk about that, or I did not put those screenshots on. I'm going to give it up that I'm a former visual art teacher, so milestones were not my cup of tea. So, but this is in the um, resource repository under
Yep.
assessment and accountability. Go ahead.
Yep. So everything that milestones relate, well, I shouldn't say everything, but the assessment team has put together the assessment and accountability repository. So everything that you used to probably find on GaDOE.org, you should now be able to find within that repository within there. And if you have questions about that, anything in there, you probably want to reach out to assessment and accountability for any clarification or anything. I don't have any knowledge of assessment information. That's it. You would think we'd all know everything, but unfortunately, we have so much going on that there's just so much to keep up with. Unfortunately, I don't know enough to be knowledgeable in that area. So I encourage you, if you have questions, just reach out to our assessment team.
Okay. I don't know necessarily, that person was not on the call, but I did want to honor all of those questions. So we do have few of you still on here. I think that um, one person in particular had asked about navigating Inspire and finding instructional resources. And then our other two guests had asked about velocity activities. So I'm going to switch to a screen where I can actually work in Inspire and maybe can try and address some of that. And then if there is a specific question, we would love for you just to ask your question and make sure that we get the answers for you that you need. Your mics are enabled. You can use the chat field, whatever you're most comfortable with. We just want to make sure that your time here with our session is most valuable. So we'd love your input. So let's see. Let's start with resources and Inspire. You do know you want to be signed in. You get the most value out of Inspire by being signed in. And you sign in through Georgia Connect staff. If you do not have those directions, Angela, I'm
Oh,
sorry, were you guys?
yeah, it's in SLDS still. The link they
It's
put
in,
in Georgia Connect staff in the class link area is public still. So they've
okay,
made a big confusion right now. So um, sorry, I don't want to confuse people. So we've got
okay.
3 things named Georgia Connect staff. So if you're in the ClassLink
Oops,
environment, we're not there yet for Inspire and
okay,
Suitcase. But do go to your old SLDS access point and it says Georgia Connects Preview, the blinky button, that's where you go to sign in. So sorry,
okay.
I didn't mean to freak out, but I
No, I'm
know that's
glad
been a
you did.
confusion point
I'm
this
glad
week.
you did.
Yep,
I'm glad you
sorry.
did. Yeah. And then I do think it's coming up. It's going to take it forever. I do think on this particular handout, it does show you how that you can get into there. It's going to take forever. So, all right, but we'll come back to that. But yes, you do want to know that you need to be signed in. You'll notice it says GaDOE Digital Media here, and that is the name for this account. And so the wonderful thing about when you're here in Inspire, it is very polite and it says good afternoon or good morning. It lets you know what time of day it is and it does greet you by name. So that's how you always know that you're signed in. If you're looking for resources, these are all of the resources in Inspire that our GaDOE content teams have created with specialists across the state. They have vetted the resources. These resources are aligned to the Georgia Learning Standards. So you can feel comfortable when you use these to help with your planning and lessons. There's even velocity activities within here. So if you click on the social studies content team, who was our velocity pilot team, and so that way I can kind of knock out the velocity question as well too. You'll see that it's broken down by grade levels, and then there's individual grades here. And if I click on second grade, each one is broken down into a unit of study curriculum map. And so if I click on here, I'm going to see all of the resources, all of the standards that are aligned to the resources in this content collection for this unit. Then when I click on resources here from this bar, I can see all of the lesson plans. There are planning resources, and there's even additional resources here as well. So you have access to that. When you are on the standards line, you'll notice that it's telling me for this particular standard, there's how many lessons are available to me that are aligned to that particular standard. So it's become a great way that you can actually look at content within Inspire based on the content that's created by our content teams. You can also copy over this content into my content. So you'll notice here, I don't have anything here, but let's say I really wanted to do a day in my life and I liked this learning plan, but I wanted to adapt it and make it my own. So I can copy the lesson plan for my use. And you'll notice it's building blocks. And so I click on it and it tells me that I've saved it to my content area in this unit. And I've also saved it to my content sandbox. And I will show you where that's at. And if this is like too basic, too elementary, if you guys will just let me know, you can throw a reaction in, like the oh my face, or drop it in the chat field and I can move on to more advanced stuff. I'm just trying to go by what was on the registration questions. All right, so I have copied it over for my use. Yes, please write it in the chat. And notice now I have the ability to actually edit it. So I can even open up this lesson, and now that it's in my content, I can actually adapt this lesson plan for my use for later on. Has ideas, you can add ideas for differentiation. It does show you the standards that are aligned. So it's just really nice that you have the flexibility to take a lesson that was created by our GaDOE content teams and make it your own. And notice up here now on my content, it says that I have one thing in there. So as you go through the different units, you might notice a purple line here with all the resources, and that is velocity. And so this one is vocabulary flashcards, which is really a great activity. Flashcards is a great activity for our younger grades as well as our older grades, but I do think sometimes it might be a little bit easier for our students. So this is a velocity activity. Velocity activities are designed to be interactive and gamified. Kids get to earn stars as they go and as they learn and start to make cognitive associations to the information that's presented to them. So this one was built for you by the social studies content team. And I'm just going to go, so this is the teacher dashboard for Velocity. And I clicked on the top up here where the glasses are, and that's going to be a student preview. So this is what a student would see. And I'll click that. And it says, let's get started. And Jackie Robinson, and there's a picture and actual some text. And we'll move on. And I'll just do one more. Mary Musgrove, so you can see her. And then when you get finished, it actually even does a quiz for the students. So I'm going to switch over to term quiz. And notice that it's going to give me like a little keyboard, and I can type in letters, and hopefully you'll start noticing my stars that I'm earning up here. And I can click the wrong letter. It's not going to hurt me. And I'll click another wrong one and keep going. And then there you go. And click it forward. It will do this for each one. And as you finish, you're going to start earning stars. So you can see how kids would be kind of excited about being able to do something and learn as they go. Having the ability to fill in those blanks, as opposed to just flipping over a flashcard and having it there. When they start filling in those blanks, they are actually creating associations to those words and they can remember them better later on. So it's a great tool for helping them with their memory. All right. And I see Pamela, you're on here. If you have any specific questions, please feel free. That is
I'm just taking it in.
okay, good. Okay. Well, it's up to you. This is all for you. So you let me know what you need. Okay.
Oh,
Hi, Rhonda.
okay. I'm the
Absolutely.
executive director of a public charter network.
Okay.
And so I just try to go out and learn about the resources, what the resources do, and how they can access them. Right now, I'm trying to help get our network staff still connected to Georgia Connects.
Gotcha.
But I heard
Gotcha.
you say this could be accessed in SLDS, so I pulled it up, and
Mhm.
I didn't get to Georgia Inspire yet.
Okay. So, let's see, that one
From
does
your
not have
home
it.
dashboard on your main landing page in SLDS, on the right-hand side, there should be a button that blinks. It has a circle in it, and it'll say Georgia Connects Preview. It's kind of a greenish color and a circle. Do you see that at all? See if I've got the document handy.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm looking
sorry, I
for
muted
one.
myself.
Okay.
I do
Oh,
see that, and let's
When you
see.
click on it,
Mhm.
it should take you to another page that says Georgia
Oh,
Connects.
it
And then you
does. Yeah.
should see a teal icon with a hand and a light bulb that says Inspire.
Oh, okay. And this is the external Georgia Connects page, correct?
It is, but
Okay.
yeah, but now you have a signed in account. So if you have an external account, they won't match, but
Okay.
if you have an LMS and you have students, your signed in account would bring in your, never mind, it's a long story, technical. But if you
It's
end up
gonna all
using,
work out.
yeah,
It is.
yes, but
It's
if you
gonna
end
all
up
work.
having your, if you end up connecting Velocity, if your groups end up connecting Velocity via LTI to a LMS, then you would want to come through the signed in through SLDS.
Okay.
plus, you can share over with yourself if you have a private account, and then you wind up having your signed in school account. So you could do it that way.
Yep.
So you don't have to wait on that. It's really kind of simple. Um, when you, I'll just sign out so you can see. So this would be the public facing inspire.godot.org. And then
Mhm.
down here it says sign in to Inspire.
Oh, okay.
And when you get to that screen on the bottom, it says create an account and it's automatic. And then you can be working directly into Inspire.
Oh,
That
okay.
way, that way you don't have to necessarily wait on that. And then
Mhm.
once you start learning how to use things in Inspire, you can create your own collections. So when I was showing you this, these are all little collections. So social studies has all these collections that belong in
Mhm.
elementary, different ones for middle and different ones for high school. And then we have many, many more collections here in the resource repository. We were talking about that in the question and answer earlier. And then when
Mhm.
you're here in my content collections, these are actually ones I've created. So you
Okay.
have the ability to create your own collections,
Mhm.
um, pull content in from the content collections that were created by the GaDOE teams, content teams. You can get them out of the resource repository. You can even make your own. You can create your own lesson plans and align them to the Georgia standards. You can make your own velocity activities. So you have a lot of flexibility once you're signed into Inspire.
Okay.
Um,
I saw you copy the lesson and add it to your own content. I didn't
mhm,
know that you could do that. So I
mhm.
definitely walk away with a great resource for our staff. And I actually saw more resources than I had previously seen. So
Awesome.
I'm glad I logged on.
Yay. Well, that's what we're here for. Any way we can help you.
Right.
When it said it put it into my content for that unit that I was in social
Yes.
studies. It
Mhm.
also said it copied it to my content sandbox, which is
Yes, it did.
here.
Okay.
And so it was a lesson. And then you'll see this lessons that you've created from other collections.
Okay.
And there is a day in my life, and that's the one that I created, and it automatically put it into my content sandbox as well too. So it puts it in two places. That way
Okay.
I don't have to remember necessarily that I got to go to second grade social studies to unit
Right.
2 to find it, right?
Right. Okay.
Um, and then even in here you can add your own. So if I wanted to make a lesson plan, I can make, oh, sorry, this is the wrong one. I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that. Let's see, we'll do this one. Nope. There we go. And I can come in and create a lesson title, a date. I can align it to Georgia standards myself. And this
Mm,
goes to Suitcase so that this has all of our standards. So let's say that you wanted to make let's do a science lesson and we'll do middle school. And
mhm.
notice how I'm just clicking through here and getting to all of the standards. And I can go in and attach standards to this lesson plan.
Okay.
And now I have these here. As a teacher, I can put in as many parts to this as I want. I know back when I was teaching, I like to have how I hook them with the lesson and what
Sure.
are my
Yes.
objectives and what are the steps for all, so many great things. And you can attach your own resources to it here. Teachers have filing cabinets. Now they're more digital than real, but you can attach
Right.
all of your own resources there. Maybe it's a great website you use or a handout that you created, and then it would live within this lesson plan, making it much easier to locate later. So, and I like this too. It has a really nice feature here where I can do a calendar, and this is the date that I'm planning to assign it.
Mm. Mhm.
As we know, weather gets in the way, but that was when I originally planned to release that assignment. But it's a
Sure.
great way to actually make it a planning tool.
Right.
Um, and then I'm going to show you, don't save, I'm just playing. Okay. I am going to show you some more velocity activities. Um, you said you're an instructional coach for a charter school. Is that what you said? Did I remember that
I'm
correct?
I'm actually the executive director with many
Oh,
hats.
sorry. Nice. Okay. Well, so what grade levels would that be?
K through 12.
Okay. So
Good
this
one.
is in resource repository. So
Mhm.
you'll like this. Georgia Virtual School
Mhm.
has so much learning content, and they have gifted all of their learning content to us in the resource repository as velocity
Mm.
activities. So let's say, and right now we have middle school and high school courses. So these are all
Okay.
courses that are given through Georgia Virtual. So let's say I click on a high school math course. Maybe I'm just so lucky I'm in advanced financial algebra. I got so excited. I almost couldn't. Definitely not wouldn't be one I'd want to do. Okay, personal savings. And then I can click on here. And as a teacher, I cannot administer this yet, but I can look over it right now in my teacher dashboard and decide if I
Mhm.
like this one. And maybe I
Okay.
like it just as it is and I want to administer it with my students. And I click here on use this activity with my students. And it tells me right away, this means you want to make a copy. And then once you have a copy of it, you can actually administer it to your students. So I'm going to copy for my use.
Okay.
And it says it's in my content area of that unit. So it's still, once again, being the repository, or I can find it in my content sandbox. So now I can close this activity and notice here, I've got my content here and I can click on this activity and use it with my students. So here's how you use one with the students. If you don't have an LTI like Canvas, you can just simply use this link right here and copy the link, and the students can use that. I know our students know QR codes backwards and forwards. They could use their phone and scan it, or they could use a tablet and scan it. They can enter that into any web browser. Um, if you have Google Classroom, you can add directly to Google Classroom. And let's see, I'll pull up my account. There I am.
Can you put it in Teams?
We're supposed to be getting a Teams button that will do the same, but the problem is sometimes it takes Microsoft a little bit longer to work with us than the
Mm-hmm.
Google. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we don't have the Teams button yet, but it's coming. So rest assured, it's just taken us a little while. But I do know when I taught, I actually used Teams, and you could take this link from here and you could just put that into an assignment. So that is, an option for right now. But
Mm-hmm.
once they have it in there, they can open this up and it will look like that for them. So remember, you can, and the teacher dashboard, when you're looking at these, this is your student preview button. So this is what my students would see. The other thing is, if you go down here nope, I'm done reading. And this is where it's coming back and allowing you as a teacher to highlight keywords and make the students fill in the blanks, and it helps them learn better, so that when they're on a test, they remember better. Plus, when I taught pandemic teaching and kids were online and doing online assignments, my high school students would have seen all that reading and went, I'm done, and just clicked right on forward. But
Yeah.
notice how Velocity is bringing me back and making me fill these things out.
Right.
um, which is, it's great. It slows them down and it makes them pay attention to the important words in the reading. So, and I was hoping from here that I would be able to show you, there's usually on here oh, look, and it's giving me fireworks because I finished it. Sometimes when you're doing the teacher preview, they have a gray circle at the bottom with two down arrows, and if you click on that, you don't have to go through the entire experience. You can just see what it looks like going through it, but this one didn't give that to me. It might be because it's from GAVS. Also over here, this is the results table. So all your results are going to go here, and you can actually download these as a spreadsheet. And these are individual because now this is my assignment. So these are, sorry, these are my results off of the GAVS assignment that I copied for my use. So it's by teacher, they would get the results. So it's not something that an administrator would have access to, just so you know that. You can also see we've got a lot of great settings here. You can align your velocity activities to standards as well, and it'll take you to Suitcase, so you can do that. I always like to click on name only mode for the kids to put in their name. But it's got lots of great things. You can add in other teachers on as editors on the same one. So let's say I added my staff account, and it's not popping up. There I am. So I would have editing rights on this as well too on my other account. So that's a nice way to do that. And there's also something called pod mode, which is really cool now because kids can actually use this in groups. So they could work on this as a group. Um, I'm sorry, I'm clicking away without getting to that. But thinking about it in those terms, like you could have kids working at a table together and putting this information in. If you were working virtually, they could do breakout groups. And then one person can, like, it goes in for the group using the pod mode. So just lots of great features that are there.
I
All
noticed that
right.
you're recording this session.
Mhm.
I think, first of all, that was amazing. It's a lot of information to redeliver. I'd have to play
Yes,
around on it quite a bit.
sure.
But if I had access to a recording or a demo that would do just what you did today, that would be amazing.
Awesome.
and I
Yeah,
could get
and
it
you'll
out to staff and actually
Mhm.
maybe give them some type of incentive to go through
Yeah.
it.
Yes, you will have access to the recording
Hmm.
after it's done, but also this is a getting started guide
Hmm.
just for Inspire alone. That's what this one looks like. This is just goes over that first initial thing that I went over with you about the content, the course content collections that come from the
Okay.
content teams. And I've got this other one. Let's see. This one is kind of an overview. It has suitcase, it has velocity.
Okay.
This is virtual tours that you could actually assign to teachers. They can do an Inspire virtual tour and look at each section of Inspire that way, and it's self-guided. This is the Getting Started in Inspire guide. This talks about how to create a content collection. You know how I was talking about you can actually create your own, where you bring in GaDOE resources and you could bring in GAV's resources and create your own and then share that out with other teachers. This is all about velocity. So I'll drop the link for this in the chat as well too.
Okay.
All right. And so this is just kind of tips and tricks is what we call it. And it's got a little bit of everything on there for you. And hopefully that'll help you out.
Absolutely.
And Pamela, you said you have 110 plus. Where are you located at?
So we actually, our K-12 pipeline is in Clayton County. We have an elementary and middle in one building in Forest Park, and I'm sorry, Ellenwood, and then the high school's in Morrow. And then we opened our newest school in the Trillard Studios area.
Oh, interesting.
We're performing
Um,
media and creative arts charter.
oh wow, that's exciting.
Mhm.
Um, because you could fill in, I think Megan Welch, who's our program manager, is typing away. I'm gonna
Okay.
let her finish. She's
Okay.
typing away.
Well, I was just going to say that I
Oh,
um
yeah.
yeah, I think Christy Todd had told us about some of those the
Yeah.
schools
We're in the Story
there.
Arts Collective with Christy Todd.
Nice. Okay, that's
Hmm.
great.
Hmm.
Um, well, I was thinking that, Artsy
Story
does,
Arts is in Inspire.
yeah, Story Arts is an
Mm-hmm.
Inspire.
I know. I did stumble across that. I was so surprised.
Um, yeah, that's some great resources. And what I was thinking is that if you want to schedule a session where you have teachers online with us, we can do that. We can do a more tailored session. But we usually, if we're in person, we need to have more than 20 people, and virtually we can have, it's always great to have more. We can do breakout sessions like
Right.
Olu is doing, kind of
I love
tailored
it.
to the needs, but we can discuss that possibility if that would be helpful.
I'll put that on my Monday agenda when I meet with principals
Okay.
and see how we might do that. We were originally going to have a asynchronous learning day on January 31st, so we could do more development with our staff. We just decided today that might not be a good idea, given that
Sure.
we've been out for 3 days. I wish I had had this earlier. I would have had people actually, um, kind of jump on within this 3 day span, but we can find another time.
Great. And then
Mhm.
I did put in there to request an in-person workshop, but you can also request a virtual one on that link that I dropped in there. And that's from our Godot community catalog as well. And then we have another one of these coming up February 27th.
Okay.
So it'll be the same kind of format.
Okay. Let me grab that, and I will send that out to staff and
Okay.
ask them to participate if their schedules allow. I don't know
Awesome.
what
Awesome.
time, but
It'll be 4 to 5.
Oh,
That
okay.
particular one. Yeah, that's the same
Yes.
time.
And, you know, I
Um,
mean, there's a lot of arts practices and athletics after school, so it's a little harder,
abs
but um,
yes.
again, they can register and
Mhm. They can even get the recording for later if they want. So,
yes.
yeah. All right.
Well, thank
Well,
you
I'm
so
so
much.
yeah, so glad you joined us today. It was nice
I
to meet
am
you.
too. Absolutely. Sorry I was running behind.
Mm.
It reminded me, I had some memories today of those COVID days where you're in two meetings at one time or
Yeah,
but thank you very
very
much.
much so. It was nice to
All
meet
right.
you.
Okay, well done. This is great work.
Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Mhm. Okay.
Have a great one. Hi, Rhoda. I see you're here. And oh, I think she's done too. Are you done? Do you have any questions for us, Rhoda? Can I help you with anything? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to stop
I think she
recording.
hopped off.
I'm going to stop recording.